So we're going to go through, we'll trade, we'll really just get ready for tomorrow. So, all right. So price, I think price is heading down into this area down here. So if we look here, there's this big up move that happened right there. Yeah. So I think price needs to redeliver this area right here down into here. Let me fix that. Yeah. It looks definitely like that's where it's heading to me. So beautiful move. Yeah, new week, new strength, new changes to become who you're meant to be. Let's go. I like it. I like it. There you, dude. That's quick, bro. Congrats, man. That's huge. Giovanni says he's got 2 more wins to get a payout. Just gotta be patient. Yeah, wait for that A++ setup. So I entered here. I was kind of late to the setup, but it worked out pretty good. All right, I'm gonna take one off right here into strength here. Boom, money in the bank. Yeah, there's actually a lot of areas below. I think that this is probably looking like a failure swing here. I have to look at ES to see if there's a crack and correlation there, but if there is, I think that's definitely a failure swing. This is a beautiful U shape here, like on a higher time frame. It's a beautiful, beautiful U shape. Oops. Get back to how it was, but yeah, you guys see that beautiful kind of U shape there? Quite gorgeous. Okay, so let's go to the hourly chart and take a look here. Yeah, this dropped down. And there was straight fire. Beautiful. And it looks like it went right to that doji there and injected it. It kind of overshot it though. Yeah, let's look at ES. I'm curious to see what happened on. I didn't trade on Friday, so yeah. So we did have a cracking correlation there. ES took out the all-time high. Well, NQ was unable to. So we actually had a really big cracking. That's a cracking correlation on a couple different levels there. You got the 1 hour time frame, and then you also got the the all-time high crack there on Friday. Obviously, we'll have to see what happens. It seems like it would be tough, I would think, to get through all of this. I think this area here is going to be pretty tough to get through. Let's go back to Nasdaq. It's dropping like a motherfucker. And this is what I would refer to as a loop close, guys. Like this is an open loop here. Price just needs to redeliver into it. There's also down here, but this is like your first pullback of that move up on Friday. So, you know how it is. It gets attracted to this. Blew my funded accounts doing some dumb shit. That sucks, man. What dumb shit were you doing, bro? We've all been there. Just going to tilt, I'd imagine. Do you have to watch this area as a balance area as well? And then also this high here. Ooh, okay. I see you. Perfect touch just about there to that high. It's still one time framing, so let it do its thing. I think that's a good question. How would you explain the phenomenon or occurrence of why loops have to close? So it comes down to buyers and sellers being able. So I think one simple sentence could answer that. Let me write it out. So So CME wants both buying and selling to take place at all prices. I think that's a good way to answer it. So if we look at like here, let me delete that. This area here, it's only buying up from there. So this is like the first place that you could say that, okay, sellers did sell from there down. Yeah, it's just that this right here at all prices. That's why you can very rarely find an area where you can put a line between a high and a low and find space between it. Like even right here, you can't. They fill it in. It fills it in there, everywhere pretty much. So if you can put a line in between a high and a low, that high and low is going to be closed in. So you can use that as a way to. It's kind of an elementary way to do it, but it does work. So mostly trading without a setup to get quick scalps, going in with too many contracts and hanging on to losers. Hey, dude, that's an amazing answer, bro. Not gonna lie, that's a really good answer. Like you know exactly what you did wrong. That's and threw it on the chart. Yeah. No, this is like the best way to think about it. That's why half back to balance works. It's why the whole redelivery concepts in general work. There we go. Nice extension down. Well, fuck. This eval's tapped out for the yeah, it's tapped out right there. All right, target hit. Bam. Let's go, guys. I can't make money during Asia session. Asia session sucks. What the fuck you smoking, bro? Still going. That's what they always be saying. They always be saying Asia session, you know, in their little fucking negative voice. You can't trade during Asia session. There's no volume. Price doesn't move. I think that's a bunch of bullshit. So now it looks like it's probably going to go half back to this area there, I'd imagine. Yeah. So I actually did have like take profit trader caught me off guard. Friday I got sent an email that all my accounts were closed and I was like, what the fuck? So I think it was Friday. I guess I don't think it was Friday. I don't think I traded Friday. Anyways, I got a email that said that I was going long and short in my accounts, like hedging. And it was because I had in queue contracts on, and then I went short M in queue. So I was long in queue. I think it was Thursday night when that when I called that retracement, this retracement right here. So I called for this to be the low. Ended up hitting, but I was short in Q, and then I went long M in Q on another account. And then both accounts were subsequently destroyed. Which was kind of like, fuck. I didn't know they would be like that. I thought it was only a funded account thing, and I didn't realize it was for evaluations. So just be careful if you're trading with them. Like can't do any hedging on any accounts whatsoever. It was really frustrating because one was a 150K account and the other one was a 25K account. So it was a little bit like, at first I was like super pissed, a little bit frustrated because yeah, it wasn't cool. But I get it, because if you could essentially, if they allow that, you could just, you know, play the game. You know, you could just long one account, short the other, and then blow one, pass one. You could do that, have a 50% win rate, and do that all day with your evals. So if I was in their position, I probably wouldn't allow it either. But still, it was still frustrating either way. All right, so let's get ready for, since we're done trading, or at least I am. Yeah. Hey, there you go. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Yeah, 200 a day isn't bad, dude. That's definitely doable, dude. Yeah, just to warn you guys, like if you're trading with them, I would imagine that other prop firms would do that too. Because if you think about it, it's kind of like, I don't know, I think Apex allows it, but I would imagine that they won't forever. I think there's a lot of people doing stuff like that. So, all right, let's get ready for the week tomorrow. I'll just buy another evaluation. All right, let's look at the daily chart here, guys. I'm just going to leave this up here for a minute so you guys can see it and get it locked in that this is how it works. Let me change that back to how it was. Okay. Yeah, Nasdaq's really lacking compared to ES. Just strange. It does seem probably bullish though. We'll have to look at the monthly and the weekly time frame. All right, monthly. Yeah, let me get rid of these stupid things. There we go. Much better. All right, so we have the monthly chart here. We definitely at some point need to come down into, I don't know when that's going to be, but at some point we need to come like 2,000 points lower. I don't know when that's going to be, but on the monthly chart, at some point we are going to make this trip back down here. So we just got this new yearly candle opening. Kind of interesting. I'm kind of watching it to see how it develops. I like if you think about the science of like candlesticks. Like I know it's weird to say the science of candlesticks, but they kind of have like a science to how they form. And usually the wick forms first, and then you get the expansion of the candle, right? So, like, is that going to be the wick there? That little tiny wick? Probably not. So at some point, we're going to get a retracement. And then the weekly chart here kind of looks like the daily chart. It looks bullish to me. Like if you look at like what are the chances here that this next candle like breaks all the way down, it's probably pretty unlikely. Probably more likely to go higher, I would assume. Not much to look at here though, right? We obviously have like a trend. There's like some kind of trend formed here. Actually, it's been, you got two weekly touches there. So I'm gonna leave that there. Make it a little bit less visible. And then there was a trend like this, right? But it got broken. So now we're broken and holding up to the upside there. Yeah, that's why I don't use trade copiers, dude. That's why I don't do that shit, man. Which trade copier was it? Yeah, Zero said trade copier did me dirty like that and lost my funded account, both my funded accounts, yeah. So I don't do it. I've had some horrible experiences myself with them. The free one, yeah. Yeah, Trade of It's the last one that got me lagging. It's lacking, bro. It's always lacking. Then we go to the daily chart here. We're currently inside the previous day. I would think that this I don't know. We'll have to look at it. It just seems unlikely to me that this doesn't go higher here, but it reminds me a lot of like this right here. It's actually almost the same exact pattern. You have like a little trend up, and you had a downtrend. It gets broken, kind of holds there, and then, but it's a little bit different, right? We have a lot above us, and it is ES is much farther ahead than it is. I would say that if ES it makes a new high here, then obviously Nasdaq would be following it up. But at the same time, it kind of looks a little sketch up here for ES. Right? Doesn't it? Kind of looks a little sketch, right? I think that the way the market is, so I was listening to Trump talk, and I was listening to some of the macro guys, and the way that they're kind of looking at this is like obviously we're confiscating Venezuela's oil, which is crazy. So that's a lot of money for America. So they're looking at that as the whole Venezuela thing is bullish somehow, which is kind of crazy, but whatever. So everyone's looking at it as like a bullish thing, and then the estimates for the GDP are coming out and they're higher, so that means that America's going to make more money. So everything's kind of bullish right now. The sentiment is bullish, for institutions and America's general. And there's lower interest rates expected, which should also boost the economy. There's a lot of these kind of like bullish indicators for America. So that's probably why we're seeing price continue higher, but at a very weird pace, right? It's not like this. This is different. This is different. So hopefully we get out of this, and I don't care what it does. I just want it to trend in one direction so we can stop having so many inside days. Inside days for us as traders it's not great, right? It's where you get kind of muted swings and price doesn't really trend. So, which if you look right now, we're having a lot of inside days like this, and pretty much that's a nice one right there from like the beginning of December there. That's pretty nice. All right, so if we look here, price dropped down into the high of this doji. We have starting to almost one time frame up. If you look here, what happened here is pretty. If you look at the daily chart, it gets pretty simple. Like it's just tapping into the previous that candle's high right there, and then probably pushes up. But there's not much to go off of here on the daily chart. Not much to look at. Not much to analyze. We do have a cracking correlation. Let's get YM on here. I had to delete my my whole watch list because on the fucking mobile app is horrible. You guys should not trade on that. That shit like makes me it's so frustrating now, the mobile trading view app, that it almost makes me go into tilt because how frustrating it is for me. Like even switching to an asset, switching from ES to NQ is like, it's like I don't even have these things on my watch list, but when I go to like change the trading product, a bunch of different assets are showing up. So I just deleted everything off my watch list just to make it so that it will only pop up. And I still don't think it is. I still think there's other assets on my watch list on my mobile app. Anyone else find that mobile app just fucking just horrible? Yeah, me too. Yeah. Yeah, it just lags and it's just horrible. Yeah, YM's making new highs here in very clean price action. Let's look at the Russell. So what I'm doing here is I want to compare the different assets and see if there's like big differences between them, like some kind of weakness. And there's RTY, that's a Russell. This is small cap stocks. So small cap stocks are a good way to judge a risk on. But it's coming into this balance area here. Super noticeable. So this is like half back to balance. Like it can't be, it's So fucking on point. Did gold pump? Did it? Yeah. So this is like a risk on asset. So anytime you're looking at small caps, if they're bullish, you should expect Nasdaq and ES to follow suit. Because these are like the small cap stocks. These are like the shit stocks. High risk assets. And we can pull up the dollar. Which you have the dollar right here, DX. I think DXY is what I'm looking for though. Yeah, I guess not. This is delayed though. It's alright though, we're looking at the daily chart, so it doesn't really matter. So here's the dollar, right? So you would look at the dollar. If the dollar is bullish, you should have weakness in assets. There used to be this correlation. It almost seems like it's coming back a little bit, but there used to be the correlation was there. Like there's no doubting it, but it's not. It was almost identically inverse of each other. It really isn't like that anymore though. Where's the other dollar one? Like I said, it doesn't really matter. I don't look at it anymore, but you can use it as like a way to see risk on or risk off. And let's put gold on our chart. There we go. All right, now I got it back. Let's see what gold's doing here. Damn, you weren't joking, bro. That retracement to that high there is so fire. That retracement right there. So you could put a line between this high here and like that low there. It didn't. It needed to close it in. It closed it in, and then up it goes. New highs. That's beautiful. You even had a beautiful retracement up the high of that doji there. And then again, another loop close here on the gold daily chart. Like, look at this, guys. Like, it's just beautiful. Boom. So before that, it looked like this, right? And then you get this loop close. Bam. And up it goes. Quite gorgeous. All right. So for the week ahead, I would assume that we should be looking for dips to then take it higher, right? But with the Kraken correlation, that kind of makes it a little tricky. Yeah, they've been super fire, dude. That makes it a little bit tricky in my opinion because of the Kraken correlation. So we'll just have to play by ear. But I would say it should be bullish for the week ahead. Should be, but might not be, you know. Okay. You and this fucking H thing, bro. Yeah. Like I get your attraction to it, man. I just think there's a lot better strategies out there. Nice, dude. Let's go. Proud of you, dude. Proud of you for sticking with it, bro. I like the meme. I like the meme, bro. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the gaps on our charts. So we know that this gap up here is still fucking open, still. Which is actually all the way up to there. We'll have to drop down and find where it was at, actually. So the gap is from there to there. Yeah, I'm already done. We caught that move, or at least I caught that move down. I'm cooked. So we have that gap there. It's a really nice gap fill here, and then find support there. And then we have this big ass open gap down here. And once we have the gaps on our chart, we can kind of look like, okay, where are some areas price might drop to? Where are some areas price might pump to? And then we have this big ass gap up here, this monster gap, which I'm super surprised NQ hasn't pumped to, right? You would assume that price would already fill this shit in. I have a video of me catching this gap fill. I have to find it. We had a gap fill last week that was really fire, but I caught. I think it's this move up here, right here. At the end of the day, I caught that move there, based off of there was a second gap right here. And if you would have shorted from the gap fill there, you would have been just set up because it filled that gap in perfectly there and then dumped. Yeah, right there, like perfectly filled it and then just wired back down. Yeah, I see the H. Yeah, I definitely see it. All right, so cracking correlation, big retracement after this, but here's our gap situation. None of them are really that nice, that close to it though, dude. So it kind of makes it tough. Oh, I did want to talk about at the opening tonight. There's a really good opportunity here. I didn't catch it. I didn't see it until after the fact, but we had that gap. I can't stand that gap being there. There we go. So we look right here, right? And you have this perfect tap into this like little retracement area. It's more visible in the 1 minute though. Yeah, so you have this area where again you could put a line between that low and that high, and then it fills it in perfectly there. I thought that was pretty dope. And then it's half back to balance of this area right here. Like to the tick. Pretty close to the tick there. But it pumped up, redelivered. I like these kind of moves. And then if you would have been able to catch that, that's a monster drop. So you guys remember, I've talked about this before, that if at the opening we open up and just drop a large amount, you get a continuation, a really large continuation. So if you think about this as a continuation, you're probably going to get measured moves here. Let me see here. Actually identify it. Yeah, I'd say it's probably, I wonder if this lines up. So it's like leg 1. Yeah, leg 2. So your second leg, you'd probably get a third leg down. If we measure this and then put it from there, I bet you it lines up perfectly with redelivery to this high, this doji here. Oh, what do you know? Isn't that crazy? It just lines up perfectly. What a coincidence. You do have to watch out for right now. So you'll get the pump, but at some point you're going to get a bigger retracement and then move down. I don't know if it's all going to happen right now. I don't want you guys just jumping in short because it lines up perfectly. I'm sure it's going down there, but you know, it's got all night to do it. So yeah, I think that's about it, guys. Like, I mean, there's not much to put on our charts here, really. There's not really a whole lot of opportunities here, honestly. You know, other than, you know, the 10-minute, there's a lot of 10-minute areas to work off of though. Like we have this low's never been tapped into yet. It also lines up with the kind of like this area here. Then we have half back of that area there. I think that this is a failure swing here, guys. So once it comes down into here, I think this is probably like either catching this short down to here and then looking to take it long back up to there. I think that's a good trade there. Yeah, beans. When I read that, when I read that message you put, I was like, fuck, bro. Because I called that out and then it worked perfectly. It was pretty fucked up.
On Friday, the Department of Justice served the Federal Reserve with grand jury subpoenas, threatening a criminal indictment related to my testimony before the Senate Banking Committee last June. That testimony concerned in part a multi-year project to renovate historic Federal Reserve office buildings. I have deep respect for the rule of law and for accountability in our democracy. No one, certainly not the chair of the Federal Reserve, is above the law. But this unprecedented action should be seen in the broader context of the administration's threats and ongoing pressure. This new threat is not about my testimony last June or about the renovation of the Federal Reserve buildings. It is not about Congress's oversight role. I continue to set interest rates based on evidence and economic about my duties without political continue to do the job this.
I don't know, I feel like Trump kind of needs to leave dude alone. Like, I get he wants lower interest rates, bro, but, bro, like, you can't control the whole government, dude. I get that's what he's trying to do, but, like, come on, bro. Yeah, there's a lot of these kind of like failure swings are beautiful opportunities. It's almost identical like when price was moving in tandem here. We have another one right there. So again, I'm going to break down this setup for you guys. Again, I'm going to do it again and again and again and again and again and again until you guys get it, okay? So, and this high right here was broken, right? That means this is a strong low. Equals support. Almost always when you have a strong high that gets broken, or not always a strong high, but a new higher high, you'll get a deep retracement, right? This isn't actually, now that I look at this, isn't the setup, but for reversals, but this is, you can use the same thing for this is like a continuation play. So strong low, you have a strong low, then if you look for 80% retracement and you pair it with redelivery, it becomes like a monster strategy here. So then you have balance, you have imbalance. So from here to here, buying only. That's a horrible B, but you guys get it. We have buying only, right? So what's price going to do? It's going to come back to where selling, because again, I should have left that. I should have paired it with this, but CME demands both buying and selling, or any exchange, really, I guess, demands both buying and selling in all areas of price. So if we had only buying up, price comes back to where both buying and selling existed with the 80% retracement. And then you get like a really big pump out of there. And then for reversals, you would look like, where was the last strong high? Which is right here. So you get the break above it. Then you look for an 80% retracement. It doesn't quite do an 80%. I guess if you use this one, maybe, but yeah, I guess you could have used it that way. And then you get the 80% retracement. It's a little bit deeper, but nice. Yeah, it's such an A+ setup, dude. It's so fucking fire. I'm gonna break it down to you guys one more time. Like, it's got an incredibly high win rate, guys. So if you have like a move up, and then you get a consolidation, And then you get a break, right? So you can take the last strong low. So on here it would be like here, but I probably shouldn't have put all this. Let me redo that. Make it overcomplicated for you guys. So then you would look for like where was the last strong low? The low that led to a new high. Right there. So you see that break, then you would just take the fib from the high to that low that was made. So you look for 80% retracement, make sure it lines up with like an area that needs to be redelivered. So if you have an open loop or half back to balance that needs to be redelivered to, that's where you like unlock the next level of increased win rate. Alone without the redelivery, it's fire all by itself. Like it's very simple. Look for the last strong low to be broken, and then instead of just trying to catch reversals, like try to catch it, you get a really higher win rate doing this. And it works on any time frame, so you can drop down if you have like, let's say like what I like to do is, let's say I have a 10-minute balance area. And then like, let's say this is half back of the balance area. So let's say this is your balance area, right? I would then wait for it to come into it, redeliver. Then I'll drop down to the 1 minute and look for this on the 1 minute or the 30-second to increase the win rate of it. Yeah, it's such a, I should come up with a name for the strategy, but it's really just like, it's a failure swing after it's just a failure swing after a strong high or low is broken. That's all it is. Works extremely well. Like right here, I'll show you some, such a beautiful examples everywhere. So where's our last strong low here? This low led to a new high. Tink. Right there, right? Right? See it? Strong low. I don't think it does quite a 80% retracement. It's actually a little shallower than it, but a little bit. That's not the best example. I think it's because it's age of session, but let's look at some more examples because it's just an amazing strategy, guys. Right here is such a beautiful example of it. Even right here, it does it. I think. Let's see. Yeah, you get the break of the strong high. And you get the so perfect. So that's your last high time frame strong high there. You get the break of it, that you immediately get the 80% retracement. Immediately. Strong high broken, 80% retracement. Beautiful. What about this one right here? Sure, it exists in this too. So where's your last strong high? Or strong low. So this low led to the last high. Yeah, that one it did do it. I think that's a low time frame one there. Sure, if we did it on like a 1 minute, probably serves it up perfectly though. So that was our last strong low there. So there's a break of it. Put our fib there. So then we're looking for price to come back up into that area. Oh, interesting. I wonder, guys. Huh, weird. Interesting, right? It just kind of works like really well. And that's just a random example, guys. Like it's not cherry picking, just a random fucking example. And then you guys, it works incredibly well. So I'd advise you guys to probably rewatch this because I break it down pretty clearly a couple times. Jay, that reminds me of a question I want to ask you. You've touched on it before, but if you wanted to press buttons a bit more, so patient, but you think about riding the initial halfback tap reversal down, exit profit after the strong low break, then flip long to ride it up, and then short it again. Yeah, that's that's hard, but it definitely is. That definitely, but the experience confidence could have banking as well said. This is the market. Yeah, it is. It's hard to do, man. I think it's doable though. It's just I think you have to stay on the high time frame. You have to stay on the 10 minute. If you did on the 10 minute though, I think it's definitely doable. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I guess I did, didn't I? I did without even realizing it. Yeah. This is very true. Yeah. That is true, huh? Yeah, but this strategy works for reversals, guys. You can use it for reversals. And then if you pair the strong highs and lows, it should keep you with the redelivery. Um, it's really unstoppable, guys. Like you should have no reason to be losing at this if you just follow the strategy, right? All right. So, any questions, guys? Like, if let's say I explain that, but maybe sometimes I talk fast, right? So let's say I explain that, and you're still a little bit confused, right? I urge you guys to ask me questions right now. Like, if maybe I explained it a little fast, maybe I didn't explain it well enough. Ask the questions, guys. I got you. I've been catching two, but not the third. I think from caution. Yeah, it's tough to do. Yeah. But I think a lot of times, Eric, it seems like for me, like when I'm trying to catch, like for example, here, I would think price should reject from this balance area, right? And then the problem is if ES and NQ aren't aligned, you get shit like this, where it continues up a little bit higher through it, and then it dumps. That's where I get fucked up. Is because I'll be like, oh, it should fucking reject. You get the first phase rejection, comes back down, tests the strong low holds, and then it pushes higher. But because ES is pumping, making all-time new highs here, you get Nasdaq. Oh, it's confusing as fuck. That's. Is it possible to just use one time frame like that? You could, yeah, you could, but I'll let you know a little secret, bud. That took me a long time to realize. So the problem with one time frame, and I get why you want to use one time frame. It's like simpler. You don't have to keep switching charts. Like there's a lot of benefits to it. But the little secret here is that the high time frame HTF equals big moves, and low time frame entries equals low risk. The result is low risk entry, large reward for risk, which is exactly what traders is what we want, right? We want low risk, big reward, right? The bigger the reward, the better. That's exactly why. Like, why did prop firms use trailing drawdown, right? Why would they use this fucking, this almost god awful evil way of stopping us, right? Like, what does it stop you from doing if you don't do it right? It stops you from catching large RR moves, right? Large risk reward moves, because that's how as traders we win. So if we can consistently risk a little and make a lot, we win as traders. So that's what pairing the high time frame with the low time frame does, is it allows you to risk a little, because we use the high time frame points of interest, if you want to call it that, high time frame areas that need to be redelivered, which then if we drop down and enter in, but you could definitely do it on all in the 5 minute if you wanted to. Like you could do it. I just don't like the 5 minute because everyone uses it. But if it's a time frame, a lot of people use it. It's just a personal thing, really. But yeah, you could definitely do it. But let's say you wanted to use the 5 minute. That's a really good question, though. Like, let's say you wanted to use the 5 minute, right? You could definitely do it. Like, there's nothing, nothing stopping you from doing it. It's just gonna be, you're just gonna have to. The problem is the risk, right? Because one candle in the 5 minute is it's a lot of points. Yeah, it's like 100 points. So you could do it on micros. You just have to go to micros as well. Yeah, let's see what it does here. Kind of interesting. It's redelivered perfectly to this high here, with a lower time frame kind of balance area needing to be delivered lower. Like, we look on the lower time frame, this area here, this consolidation. So definitely interesting to see what happens here, if it does drop down to the halfback area or not. I would say, because we already dropped down here once, I would say it's pretty much almost guaranteed to go lower here. But I don't know if ES is on the same page. Yeah, ES needs to redeliver lower too. But this 830 moves are tricky though, right? But if you look at the market structure here, you should be bullish. There should be no reason to be you should be bearish. There's no reason to be bullish. We haven't broke any market structure that tells you price is doing anything but going lower. Like, it's it's respecting strong highs like a motherfucker. Strong high, strong high, strong high. That was your last strong high right there. Strong high. So anytime a strong, it makes a new low, you can just put a fib on here. Bam. Entry right there. Bam. Entry right there. And it just will continue, right? Like, if you're just patient enough and wait for these retracements, they'll happen. Yeah, the 830 pump is interesting. It definitely exists. It's definitely there. Damn, my voice. I took Friday off because I couldn't talk from streaming too much last week. My voice is still kind of getting messed up again. Is it? Right in the Wickham. So we just wait. We should get a retracement up here eventually, based off of what it's been doing. Which is essentially a really low risk to reward entry. See if it's there on the 1 minute, but it's a little bit harder to see. The 5 minute, it's there, but it's a little bit harder to see. You can still see it if you imagine, if you get really good at multi-time frame analysis, which is super important in my opinion. Like, each time frame gives you a different perspective and more information. So as traders, the more you want more information, right? People will call this noise or fucking crazy because it's just a lower time frame. It's just a lower time. It's just more information. But is it for everybody? No, probably not. Some people are going to get overwhelmed. That's why I like looking at multiple time frames, because then you can really I like looking at the hourly a lot, because it tells me like what's going on. Like if you look at the hourly, one time framing usually continues for a little bit, right? This is kind of a bad example because it but even still, you still get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No candle closes above the previous candle's high there. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 candles in a row. Then you got 1, 2, no candle closes below the previous candle's low. So you could count all those and then up, and then, you look at one time frame on the hourly, well, definitely it should help. Any other questions, guys? Nice, bro. And then when price is doing deep retracements like this is where you can get messed up, because if you chase price, like like some days you can tell by price action the way it moves. Like how to explain this? So if you chase price too much when price is doing deeper retracements like it is right now, you'll get punished, right? If you chase price, you're gonna put major risk on to avoid being stopped out. So Valhalla, yeah, I think what happening here is exactly what happened here. So you had this period of deep retracements. It looks like there's 1, 2, 3 of them. We have 1, 2, 3 of them. I would almost imagine that this is probably just going to one time frame down and not deliver that retracement. Hopefully it does, but I don't think it's going to. And then I'd look for a measured move off of this. The measure move is kind of tough to identify. Maybe right there. Yeah, it's very close.
Does high time frame let you know with the higher probability where balance or open loops will get blasted through?
No, that's a good question. Yeah, there it goes. That's a good question, Eric. That's a tough one. I think the higher time frames are less likely to, right? But I think it's that's tough. You stumped me with that one, bro. that's a good question. I kind of look at the lower time frame, and the higher time frame should produce the same win rate, right? It should be the same win rate regardless. So there's an 80% retracement, so you could enter here. So that's your last strong highs, like in this area there. You got the 80% retracement off of it. Kind of a shitty entry, but
Yeah, in my opinion, if the strategy is good, the win rate should be consistent on all time frames. So
if we look at like balance areas and stuff on the time frame, it's the reward, it's the movement from it. The rotation is going to be bigger on the higher time frame is all. I think I'm answering your question right. Maybe you can rephrase it for me. So you do have, like, right now, I think it's kind of bouncing off of this kind of the high of this area here. But once it gets through this balance, this low time frame balance area here, it should be gold. So if I'm risking 6 points, I should be scaling. There it goes. So I should be scaling out. I'm risking 6.5 points, so I should be scaling out. Here pretty quick. Guarantee the win. Uh, 25,741. Then 736. Yes, sir.
We got to keep an eye on ES here because
if it gets down to this doji, if it gets down to this area first, it could cause Nasdaq to just stop and not get all the way down there. So it's important to watch ES's little bitch ass. I hate ES right now, dude. I cannot stand it. And there is also a chance that this is balance area here, so I just cannot see. I should have scaled out there when I had the opportunity. All right, so we should get an injective volatility like Jeff was saying. Hopefully it's a downward volatility here. Still one time framing here. So on the 1 minute, the one time framing is kind of shit. So go like the 2 minute or the 3 minute. Yeah, the 2 minutes actually beautifully one time framing down here. So the new low, I'll scale out here. And I'm not going to allow it to go back above. It has no reason to go back above that candle's high there, because that redelivered into that low there. So I'm not going to let it do that. If it does, I'm going to go and get out. Yeah, this is a new eval. I'm really just taking this trade just to show how you can use the 80% retracements for entries. Yeah, I'm already past the $1,500, the 50% of profit limit. Yeah, that's why if it goes back above there, I'm gonna get out. Like low time frame retracements will continue for some time, guys, but that's why the multi-time frame analysis is important. So let's say you have like a really beautiful 1 minute trend down. At some point, there's going to be a higher time frame retracement, right? Where you're going to get like a bigger retracement. So you always have to keep that in mind when you're trading a low time frame. There it is, guys. I'm going to go ahead and scale out there. All right, so I just showed you guys step by step how to use the low time frame 80% retracements after it's the exact setup that I taught you guys earlier. It's just I'm applying it to a lower time frame. Right? That's only different. I'm showing you a way to chase price. Like if you did not get the like best entry point, I'm showing you a way to chase price. Kind of, you could call it chasing price if you were to look at this on a higher time frame, like a 5 minute. Absolutely. Like I entered in on a doji. Right? There's nothing there on the but if you drop down, you can implement this. So on the 5 minute here, you could say that 718 is probably would be it. And this is why multi-time frame analysis is important. On the other time frames, it's going to give you this. Let's look at on the 10 minute. On 10 minute, it just looks like a balance area. Beautiful one time framing on the 10 minute. Beautiful. It's one time framed all night. If you look here on the 10-minute, it has not stopped one time framing all night. Literally from the opening candle there, no close above the previous candle's high. Beautiful one time framing all the way down. We saw this last week too. It did this. Where's that at? I guess no, this is an hourly I'm thinking of. This is an hourly one time framing down situation where one time framed all night. Same thing with that. Yeah, did a very nice job. Yes, sir. Good call, Eric. So now if you hadn't entered in on that, you would then and this gives you really I would actually say that I'd probably enter here, but like once support, flip that bitch into resistance is an easy way to enter as well.
With a stop above the 80% retracement area.
It didn't quite get there though, so it's close, but didn't quite get there. But you could, if you go on the 1 minute, it pretty much looks like it did. It depends on your risk appetite. 736, right where it bounced at. Yeah, I think the lower time frame area. Let's go to the hourly and see what you're talking about. Oh, like this area here. Midpoint 1 hour balance. Oh, I have it drawn now wrong. So I would draw that. I guess I can't see how the candle formed, but I would say that like price went up to here and then they sold. Yeah, that's a tricky ass balance area. Oh, I get what you use. Okay, I get where you do. Okay. I get it now. That's a tricky one, dude, because on the hourly, it's hard to tell where that fucker closed and opened. I guess it's hard to say if, like, did the seller sell it all the way down and then up? It definitely is tricky. I think the lower time frame area should hopefully come into play here and force it to redeliver down to there. But that is a big if, I think, too. Yeah, so the one support worked out very well. And then you did have like a low time frame. It didn't. You could say it did there, but it gave the 80% retracement. There it is, guys. So it's almost $3,000 profit for the session. So if you look at the lower time frame, like this area right here, that would be balance. Then you can put these lower time frame areas inside of there if you wanted to get really nitty gritty with it. But that's very close to the high time frame area, like almost exact. So I would think that I would say that that's probably. So I'm looking for like the last area of intense selling here. So we have buyers bought, sellers sold, buyers bought, then sellers sold down. So I want to use from like this area there. I think that would produce a pretty decent balance area. But I think ES is probably redelivered at this point. Would be my guess. Without looking at it. Yeah, ES is redelivered. Almost completely of that area. So it's giving you that 80% retracement right now. This is where if it wants to close in that loop, because it didn't close it in all the way, is where it probably does it. But then it's also breaking a strong high. That's your first strong high break all the way since up there. So there's the loop close. Beautiful to the tick loop close there. Beautiful. I probably shouldn't have added on there. Yeah, I think you're right, Eric. I think it's too much of a V-shaped recovery. So there's the 80% retracement, like to the tick there. You have your probably it's a 1 minute, 3 minute strong high. Can't really see it on the. You can see it on the 2 minute pretty clearly. Like that's your strong high. But again, at some point, like I was saying earlier, at some point you get like this low time frame, beautiful trend. At some point, that's going to break, and you're going to get a higher time frame retracement. Hopefully, that's not right now. So yeah, there's another beautiful example. So what I did here is I looked for. Let me explain it to you guys in a diagram so you guys get it a little bit more. So if we have a strong low break, you then look for an 80% retracement like that, which a lot of times this is also lines up with half back to balance like that. So here's your balance area, you drop your deep retracement, and then all you have to do is risk the high.
Yeah, exactly. For real. Let's measure this out here. Did we get an 80% retracement yet?
So what Eric's talking about is doing like, yeah, so that area right there lines up with it. So if this is your strong low here, it's actually a weak low on a higher time frame. So this is actually your strong low all the way down there, which kind of makes me think like tomorrow, are we going to come down here? And everyone will call it a liquidity run when it fills in a gap. They'll all scream liquidity run when it fills in a gap. They do it every week. They're like, oh, it ran liquidity, but the liquidity overshoots by hundreds of points, if not thousands sometimes. Yeah, it only overshot the liquidity by 200 points. But it goes to the tick of the gap fill, like literally to the cent. And they'll be like, it was a liquidity run. And it's like, you guys are so fucking behind the curve. It's just disgusting. All right, so second push up there. Now it really has no reason to go above that wick there. It redelivered like half back out that doji there pretty much perfectly. And then if we do this, it looks like it's like half back to balance about. Yeah, it's a perfect half back to balance touch as well. So like exactly what I showed you here is taking place here. It is definitely a higher risk though. Yes, it's already redelivered. And then we have 1, 2, really big pushes. We have a finish of a measured move just about as well. So there's a lot of reasons for this to bounce. The measurement is tricky tonight because I'm not sure if it's like from there to there or if it, I would say from that low there, it started a long-term consolidation. Well, from there, it kind of tricky. So the 80% retracement of this move, we'll see if it's right down here, which it also does give it pretty close. But I'm also worried about this as a balance area here. But that also lines up with the balance of that little consolidation. But you could also, there's a lot of arguments that you could say that this is, that this is the balance area, which it just about bounced off of perfectly there. Let's make sure we got it right. But it's important to make sure that your balance areas are correct, because we want to use the precision as like the element of because the only humans aren't precise in their order entry, but algorithms are, right? So yeah, it looks like I'm gonna get blasted here, which I need to lose $200 more, so should have my stop above that high. But you have one support. Let's see, I put my stop right above there. Which now we have a strong low break, probably. You could say that that's a strong high. So this is what I was just talking about, the lower at the high. You're gonna get a higher time for during retracement eventually. Good call though, Eric. Yeah, let's look at the one time framing broke. Let's see if the 10-minute one time framing is still in place. No, but it's broken. Makes new high. I'm out for sure. There's too many bullish like check offs, right? So if you think about everything that's bullish, you do like a check mark. Everything that's bearish, you do a check mark. There's definitely a lot of bullish check marks there. All right, I'm out at that. Puts me back at 1500 where I need to be. So now is this the low? I don't think so. I think it's just a higher time. So you go with like the 10-minute, look for an 80% retracement of this there, or one support turn resistance of that area right here. So that's your balance area there. It could be done though. It's hard. This area is really tricky. This consolidation is super tricky. Yeah. What do you think it's going to do, Eric? Do you think it's going to, yeah, we won't get back that high, but I would hold long, hoping we retrace decent amount of downside one time framing. Yeah. Yeah, and then we also have all this area up here. So if you think about the higher time frame retracement coming into play here. But that same trade I took there, like don't forget that it did produce $1,000. I just added onto it and then put my stop at the right spot. So I would advise you guys to go back and look at, so there's one support turn resistance. And now I would look for a deep retracement here. As soon as it stops one time framing up, look for a deeper retracement because we're breaking strong highs here. These are all low time frame strong highs. So this is balance, and there's higher time frame balance areas, but this area is definitely yeah, it's still one time framing though. Yeah, this is a good call there, Eric. Like you called that. Yeah, if you could, bro, that's like it's doable, right? We see it. It's just hard to. You have to come up with a process of elimination, right? So where you could like look at it breaking through that balance area there, still one time framing. I actually did just get a hold of that prop firm CEO. So I think I gotta look at my DMs. He DM'd me back finally. That prop firm is like legitimate, dude. Like they're really like kind of being picky. Like I sent him all my information. Dude's like, he's like, okay, so like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I don't know, I like what you guys are doing. You guys have something different, so I would definitely be interested in like making content and so I think he's gonna shoot me a couple free evaluations. I have to look. Purdue, I don't know how to pronounce it. Purdue, I think it's called Purdue. But they allow the news trading in live and evaluations, so with no consistency. But they have like a crazy affiliate, like their affiliate program is pretty basic, but their I guess you could call it influencer if you want to say like they pretty much what they do for people that make content is they offer a I think it's a weekly siphon, which I've never heard of this before. So they pay you weekly on top of the affiliate rewards, which is kind of nuts. I've been talking to him about that because it's the only fucking prop firm that offers something new. Like they're the only ones. Yeah, hell yeah, you already made me hella proud, dude. You're already killing it. But I still need to interview the dude. I still want to talk to him before I start promoting him. Because their funding model is almost a little bit unsustainable in my opinion. No consistency with the news trading could be pretty unsustainable. But I like how they're being picky with the influencers and stuff because a lot of the other new prop firms, they're just throwing, like you guys saw what they were, the prop firms, like I posted in the prop firm section, what they're throwing at influencers is fucking crazy. 40% commissions. Like if like so for if you spend $100 per eval, that means the affiliate is getting $40 of that 100. So imagine how hard that affiliate is going to be pushing that prop firm to you guys. Like I have moral standards, so I don't do that because I understand that they're trash. But a lot of these guys, they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck if you guys get fucking wrecked. So they push. This is the best prop firm in the fucking world. It's kind of disgusting, honestly. And then they'll just switch to a new prop firm that offers them. And that's how these prop firms are doing it. These new ones coming out is they go all in on influencers. That's their whole marketing budget, just goes to influencers. And then eventually what happens is the new shiny prop firm comes out, they run out of their marketing budget, and then guess what happens? Rule changes. Yeah, they're going to start changing rules, payout denials, because they no longer have the money to pay the influencers. And then who are they going to get that money from? Where's that extra money going to come from? The traders' pockets. How do they do that? They deny, they change rules, and then they'll do that, and eventually they'll go belly up. We've seen this happen so many times. It's unfortunate. All right, so we have kind of like you could say that this is a strong high here. In the 3 minute definitely is your strong high. Price is testing it, but it's one time framing, right? So you don't want to be fading this one time framing action here. We look at ES, which I haven't done much of tonight for some reason. ES broke that same area. ES ripped. Compared to Nasdaq, it's ripped. ES is actually redelivered half back to balance here, perfectly to the tick. So we have a cracking correlation there. ES took out this high, NQ did not. So now we're getting somewhere, right? Like now you're starting to see, you can start developing like a trade narrative here. Go from like the 10-minute strong high to there, we're getting close to an 80% retracement. You have the cracking correlation, you have ES redelivery. You could start to develop a reason to enter, but still with the 3-minute one time framing, I don't ever fade it. We can say for ES at some point it's going to have to do, it's going to do that 80% retracement. ES had a good reason to redeliver right here too. Like you had a pretty decent balance area there. I bet you on the 1 minute's beautiful one. Yeah, the 1 minute you have this beautiful balance area there. But it's already kind of overshot that, right? So that overshoot of it right there is telling you like to beware, right? It's kind of like a forewarning that it might not work, right? It's not a guarantee that it won't work, but it's definitely like a warning shot. Okay, so now you like in this situation, what I would do, and I would drop down and like look at like what I just tossed you guys. Like where's the last strong high at here, right? Like that's your last strong high there. So what's probably going to do is you're going to get a deeper retracement probably back down into this area. If it is bullish, right? A deeper retracement that then, put it in a failure swing. Because almost all reversals have this. So that's not quite enough big enough break of that. It broke it just barely. I would need more than that. You have to be careful here because ES is just it could just be redelivering into that area.
Why 790, Jeff? What's up there?
All right, so there's the break. So now if I was wanting to short this, I would then look for the 80% retracement, which it doesn't always give it, right? Like sometimes it gives it, sometimes it doesn't. But you have to be okay with missing it, right? Beautiful, beautiful on the 10-minute here. You have redelivery right into there. And then, so if you would expect higher prices, it needs to build a base, right? Like for a base for higher prices. So something like, so you see that curling action. Hey, yeah, call it there, bro. That's a really good night, dude. Yeah. Don't need to keep pushing it. I'm just teaching here. I don't even know. I probably want to take it, but I just want to try to drill this into people's heads as much as I can. All right. So that's, you could say that it's there. But again, I don't really like that. This probably works, but I don't like how aggressive it was. I definitely would be really hesitant. ES looks a little cleaner here, like ES redelivered right to the low of that doji there perfectly. I wouldn't have taken this, but you could have. I don't like how aggressive it was, that push up was there. So let's say you did enter there, right? You're not risking very much, right? You made 4 points. So you would have already been able to scale out and guaranteed a free trade. It's already free, right? If you enter there, you scale out, take one off. You have one contract remaining. That's free, risk free. And this is how you can take trades that maybe may not be as high of a win rate that you're not so confident about. Like if you're going to take a trade that you're not like super confident about, which you shouldn't be taking anyways, but if you're going to do it, at least do it right, guys. Like at least scale the fuck out, right? Like that would be my if you're gonna take trades that you know you probably shouldn't take, scale the fuck out and guarantee the winning. Nasdaq gives it to you almost every time. If you scale out, you won't take a loss on it, right? If anything, it'll be small win. But if you just sit there and don't scale out and you take a full stop out, like that's not good. That you're just gonna, this is damage to your psyche. And then there it goes. And then you could be like, okay, I'm out. And then you would so you already banked, let's see, you already banked 6 points, you get out there. So you bank 4 points, that's $100, $80, $100, somewhere around there. But again, the reason I wouldn't have taken that is because that move right there is too aggressive. It was too deep. I wanted it to be 80% from there to there, and it pushed up past 80%, which doesn't mean it doesn't work, but it just kind of is a clue. He also had a cracking correlation between ES and NQ here. ES double bottom there. NQ took out low. See how there's always clues? I really like the clues. If you look at price action like on a clue to clue basis, it is very fun to do because it leaves these clues in the price action that you can learn to read. I like it. Very interesting. And then you just, if it's bullish, you put like a check mark. If it's bearish, you put like a check mark. So if it's bearish, do this. If it's bullish, and you'll pretty much find that it works very well if you do it like, okay, there's a bullish characteristic, there's a bearish, bullish, bearish, bullish, bearish. And then you kind of like do tally marks, and you usually come up with the right answer based off the tally marks. Yeah, that's what, dude, Eric said it right there. So figuring out it's fulfilling because it's definitely complex. Your brain has to analyze a lot fast. And it's also why we take breaks. No, I think this goes down first before we go up. It may retrace a little bit higher here, but I think this goes down before we see it move up personally. Again, because if it is bullish here, which I'm not 100% convinced it is yet. But let's say it is bullish. It needs to build structure out. It needs to build a base. We don't have a base yet. It could be like something like this though. Be like a V-shaped recovery. We could be in like this stage of it. So this is almost identical to what we have right now. Yeah, there it goes. So that trade would have worked if you would have kept your stop there, but I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have stayed in it personally. And there it goes. All right, guys. Any questions? I talked about a lot. I would rewatch this. It's an hour and a half of me just teaching pure strategy tonight. So I would definitely rewatch it, guys. If you feel like you didn't quite get it, I would rewatch it a couple times. Because I taught just pure strategy tonight. It was just how to enter and exit into trades. how to pair low time frames with high time frames. So much value here for you guys. I don't think a lot of you guys appreciate it or you don't realize it, but I'm constantly dropping just really high level shit on you guys, and I think it just goes all over you guys, a lot of people's heads, which I need to figure out how to do a better job of teaching it so it doesn't do that. Hey, yes, sir. Yeah, I know, but I feel like sometimes I'm like making people I'm confusing them because I cover too much. Not like, I guess that's not the way I'm saying. I'm saying that like um it's a lot, right? Like it took me like it took me years to develop the understanding, so um it definitely would be confusing to someone that's new to price action. Hey, let's go, Jeff. Hey, appreciate you guys. Appreciate that. Yeah, information overload. Exactly, exactly. I did, Jeff. I did, bro. I, I'm glad it's paying off for you, man. Because I can see your progression, Jeff. You don't see it, but I've always saw it. Like even from your first couple weeks in the Discord, I was like, okay, there's some of you guys that I see, and I'm just like, okay, this dude's got it. He's got the itch, I guess you could call it. Which I'm not saying that some of you guys don't. I just don't, we don't interact. And you guys are a little bit quieter on stream, which is fine. That's it. But if you're shy, that's whatever. I would probably, honestly, I'd probably be the dude not typing in the chat either, honestly. So I get it. But I just, some people get to interact with me. What do you mean, not you, Gary? Yeah, you have it, Gary. Oh yeah, you used to. I think you used to more. Maybe it's just from I think you're more talkative in like the smaller group setting. Plus, he has bonus stream forks. Yeah, yeah, they do. They get super mad, dude. But the same people that get mad don't show up most of the time, so it's like you're getting mad, but I don't get it because you didn't show up the last 4 streams. So what's you mad about? So, so if you look at price now, it's done a pretty deep retracement, and then you would just simply look at the clues, like I just taught you guys. Like, you watch the clues here. If it's bullish, it will tell you. Yeah, I would, Gary, because you definitely I think you learn. People will learn more. I definitely believe that people that are more talkative in the chat, because it's more of an experience then, instead of it just being like a video. I think it's the same reason why you'll remember experience really well, but if you try to remember a video, all of a sudden a video or a lecture or something, you don't really remember it. But if it's an experience, you remember, right? So I think if you're interactive with the chat and you're talking, you're asking questions, it's an experience instead of just a video or a lecture or whatever. Same thing in class, like if your teacher's teaching and you're just like, zoned out, it definitely. All right, guys. I will see. I'm probably. Does it? Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, that's where exactly, Eric. That's where it's confusing to me when I'm like, okay, either I taught it really well um or I think people are shy. I just think people are shy, dude. I think that's what it is. Which is unfortunate, right? Because if you have questions, I really want you guys to ask them. Like, I prefer questions. What do you think it is then, Gary? Oh, how to, that's a good point. Yeah, I didn't think about that. That's a good point. Like how to form the question. Because I'll have like a lot of students that what they do is they come in, they watch the content, they they take it in, and then it takes them like a couple months to actually like um of practice and doing it themselves to find success with it, I guess you could say, because it's a lot. But then once they get it, they'll come back and be like, thank you. But I need to figure out how to I think if I did it, I don't know, let me see what you guys think. Like, what do you think about like streams that are more structured based off like concepts, like a focus for the stream instead of it being more of a free for all? I get what you're saying. By the time I get the question for me, moving on, I'm not that fast. Gotcha. So I mean, like we could focus on, yeah, like I mean, like focused on whether it be market structure, pre-delivery, and then like concept based, like like or how to enter into trade, like a specific topic to or topic, concept, strategy, focus point.
I like how you talk through the trade as to why you take this trade. Okay. I like that. Yeah.
Redelivery is what you're searching for. Yes, that Mr. Matt, that's a super big point. There's like no stupid questions in trading. Like, I don't think there is. I don't think I've ever had like a bad reaction to someone's question, unless it was like super like rude or something. But even then, I'm pretty polite about it. I took AI and had it help me form my questions last week. That turned into a shit show. Why do you say that? If focusing on single concepts isn't your strong suit, then it can cough. That's a good point. Disjointed. If trading as you go through your trade is your thing. Yeah, I think that's part what I'm better at. I can teach one concept at a time. It's hard in a live market because in a live market, right, there's a lot of concepts or like it makes it difficult, but I think I could do it. I wonder what happened to that dude. That dude's funny. I don't think he thought what I was saying was funny, but that dude, man. What about happened to him? That most stubborn human I've ever seen, dude. Did it take you down a rabbit hole? Yeah. Yeah, it is playing out, isn't it? Yeah, I definitely see the H there, but how are you trading it? Like, how are you entering in? Careful, bud. Careful for the failure swing here. Yes is right there right now. The AI badmouthed me. What did it say? I like how you call it a bitch. What did it say, dude? No, the H is a pattern that you can see in price action. It's definitely legitimate. It's just how do you trade it? Jeff's figuring it out though. I think it's really, if you break down the H pattern, you're really just looking for this right here. This kind of, for it to form an H, it has to come up, consolidate, and then break, right? And that gives you the formation of the H. So if you can catch like one support turn resistance, that's probably the way to enter off that strategy, I would think. Like right here, it almost did it. Not quite, but.
Let's see where did you enter in those at?
Yeah, it doesn't show your entries very well. Yeah, I can't see shit on that chart. Gary, I don't think the AI is a bad thing though. Which model did you use? Auction theory? Yeah, it kind of is based off of auction theory in a way. Oh, I know what it did. So it's looking at, because I use the word balance. I think you have to explain balance to it first. What it's doing is thinking, if you look at like market profile.
So for market profile, like this is like you have a D shape as balance, right?
So there's lots of pictures here. Yeah, so that's using this, like you're using this as balance, which is in a way it is like fair value, right? But that's not how we're using it. We're using the displacement of it. So that's probably why it went that direction. Yeah, the models are tricky, dude. Like Gemini was so fucking amazing, and now it's like kind of shit. I hate how they mess with it. Like you had ChatGPT 5 when it first came out, fucking amazing, and then a month later they mess with it. I don't know why they're messing with it, dude. They put it out, then they mess with it. I like Gemini because they give you a free trial for a while, which I just switch emails on that bitch. I just next email, next email, next email. Is that why? Oh, nice, nice, Alexis. Yeah, ChatGPT is good though too. They're all really good now.
Gemini can look at videos, so you can literally take the live stream
if I have it public for everybody, which I usually don't. That's the issue. It's usually I don't make it public for everybody, but you could just give it the link and it will watch the video. Not to make vids, but I think you can just you can have it watch the videos for you. It will only make, even the pro will only make 3 videos. So like my last video here, you could just take it. Watch this video and then give me the best sections to either rewatch as a trader or also break down these concepts that are taught in the video so I can understand them better. Say it's watching the video. And then you can use like Canvas here will create tools that you can use to help better understand it, or you can create slides with Canvas too. And then there's also probably actually what the best tool to use is Notebook LLM. I think it's LLM. Well, to see, I can't remember. Yeah, Google Notebooks LLM. This is a sick product. Which if you sign up for the free trial of Gemini, it becomes free as well over here. So like, let's say you create a new notebook. You then put in the videos you're interested in learning about. Let's use a live stream example. And you could just continue to put the live streams in there as you go on, and it will actually create slide and videos for you to watch to help better explain it. Let's see which one this one. Yeah, it's all right. We'll put it in there. And then it will create like, it's pretty cool. Watch. I'll show you guys instead of trying to explain it. And then, so over here, this is where it gets cool. So you could be like, okay, flashcards, quizzes, slide deck, infographic, audio overview. It creates like a little podcast, breaking it down, mind maps. Like, it's fucking amazing. This tool is just, I just learned about this like 3 days ago. I've known about it for a while, but I haven't tried it until I was trying to make blogs for my website. Yeah, so then it breaks it down into concepts, and then boom. Then you can click on Savage Morning Drop. You can click on it and it will, it should, see, and then it breaks it down even more. Look at it, look at it. Like, this is so cool. So the Savage Morning Drop described refers to drastic high-speed price declines triggered by market data, shifted market sentiment in the broader context, SMC soups, unfair delivery, and it goes deeper into it. And then it will even give you the transcript so you can see what was actually said. Indifference to slippage, stop, and then you guys get the point. But it's pretty cool, right? Like, I think that once I figured this out, it just clicked in my head that this is like next level. Like, and then if you really wanted to learn, you could, I'm not sure if you can, but I think you could download, yeah, you can. So you could download the Risk to Riches course, put the videos in here, which I will probably do that myself to create more content. And then you could go back and then you could create quizzes to test yourself or flashcards to make sure you understand it. You can create slide decks. Like you could really like, if you really want to understand it, like this tool here is like fucking amazing. I don't even think I don't know how much they charge for it. But again, you can get Gemini for free, sign up for a free trial. And then you just switch emails. Like it's not like you, I think it's a 3-month free trial, right? So yeah, I just found out about this like this weekend when I was making the content. I was trying to make little blogs for my website. Yeah, it's definitely pretty cool. If you guys want the link, here it is. Oh God. What was that? It's crazy. All right, let's try that link. That other link is not gonna work. I don't know why it's so difficult. And if you guys ever just want the text out of something, you can use like the snipping tool here, and then you can just press that there, and then you can just copy whatever text is on the. Just if you guys ever have issues with that, because I do it on my phone all the time. If I just want the text from something. All righty, guys. I think we'll end it there. And I'll see you guys in the AM.
Oh, so like let's say on your phone, or let's say like you want just want the text on the screen, right? So you can also do it with your screenshots of your phone, or you can use the snippet tool here, like whatever area you want, and then it won't let me zoom in, but if you click that right there, it will grab all the text, right? And then you can just copy all, or you can copy specific points of it. Yeah, it does it. You can do it with your phone too. Anytime you take a screenshot, it's usually on your phone. It's like it looks like a T in a box, and that's it to make it so you can grab any of the text. Kind of cool. Like if like for example here, it wouldn't let me copy this for like if I click down on my mouse and try to copy it, it wouldn't let me. I use it on my phone more often. It will be, I'll go and schedule it right now. It'll be right before the opening. Like 6:15, which is 9:15 Eastern.
Yeah, there you guys go.
Oh yeah, I didn't look at the news. What do we got for the news this week? Ooh, okay. Should be a good week, guys. We got a lot of news. A lot of high impact news. So it should be a decent price action this week. We got reason for price to move. Yeah, I think it does too. I still think it's going down here. It overshot the 80 by quite a bit. Alrighty, guys. Well, I will see you guys in the morning. Let's get it. Peace out.